Okay, now that we've talked a bit about what starter themes are and kind of how they work and how they operate, let's take a look at one in action. I'm going to start off here over at underscores.me and I'm going to create just a basic demo starter theme. So I've entered in some basic information. You actually don't need to enter all this. All you really need is just the first part, and then it'll kind of dump out the rest for you. But I've got all that. I'm not going to grab the Sassify option for now. You can if you want. And I'm just going to click generate, and that will download for me my starter theme. So what I could do from here is open up my local development site. And now I'm going to install this just like I would any other theme. I'm just going to do it from the admin area. You can just copy and paste the files directly into the folder inside of WP Content Themes, but I'm just going to do this real quick here just to show you. And we'll go ahead and activate it. And notice now that we've got our demo starter theme. So if I come out and view this, it's not going to be that attractive. Notice it's basically just all of the stuff here. I could change this a little bit and create a static front page if I wanted. But again, the styling is not going to be anything really that special. But notice that we're getting a lot of data here. We could see that we've got menu, we've got a bunch of widgets down at the bottom. We just don't have it styled, but we could click in and we could click around, and it does work out of the box, and it has a lot of functionality, but it doesn't have any of the styles that we need. So let's open this up now in our code editor. So what I've got here inside of my WP content folder, themes, and then demo starter here, I'm just going to drag this down into my text editor. And now let's take a look around a little bit. Let's start off in our style.css. Notice that it's got a text domain, it's got the theme name, all the details that we set up, it's got some generic information, and then it does have a whole bunch of styles, but a lot of these aren't going to be doing too much. It's kind of just clearing and basic setting stuff up. So you do have a lot of that already running for you. If we come inside the functions.php file, we could see that it's adding some different theme support. We haven't really talked about this yet, but this is just setting it up to support different functionality that WordPress offers you. We could see that it's doing a few things. It's setting up some new widget areas. It's going to include our different CSS and style files. And then it's going to pull in some other custom files as well here. So this is what I meant by kind of that modular approach. Notice that in the hierarchy here of files, we've got an include folder with a bunch of custom PHP. We're not really going to talk about what all of this is in depth. After we go through the next few sections of the course, we'll have the context to discuss all of this. It has some custom JavaScript set up for us here, some helping with accessibility, some with the customizer. Notice that it's already got the languages set up and it's ready to be started to put into other languages, some different CSS depending on what layout style you want to use. And then the part I really want to point out are the template parts. So notice that it's taking this modular approach of breaking things up into smaller things. We could see that it's got some JS hint and things like that for our modern workflow and best practices around how you're going to be styling your code. And then it has a lot of the common templates. So things like 404, footer, header, index, page. These are going to be in pretty much every site you build unless it's some other custom reason that it wouldn't, but these are pretty common. So that's why they're all going to be here. And you could start editing this file directly. So you don't create a child theme of it. If you want to make changes, you just come down and start making those changes. So if I want to change my background color here, let's say to like something that will match our color for this section of the course, I could go ahead and just throw that in here. So if I come into my theme here, I should see it working. It looks like it's not. So let me pull that back out. And part of this might just be the organization of the style sheet. Notice we have the normalizing, and then we get down into some other things here. So if I search a little bit further for the body, notice that we see this tag appear later on down here. So I could just comment or pull this out, change the background color, and then we see that it's working here. So rather than create a child theme for this, we're just going to edit the styles, edit whatever it is that we need to do directly. Now let's come down and let's edit one more file here. I'm going to come into the footer.php, kind of like I did in the last one and before the end of everything closes out. So inside of the footer here, I'm just going to add in, again, a special class that just says custom footer. And then we haven't really talked about all the different ways of escaping or translating text here. So I'm just going to throw in something that you could kind of follow along with on your own. We need to know what is the text domain of our theme, and that's going to be right here. So demo starter, we'll bring that over, throw that in. And now if we come back into our theme, and all the way down at the bottom, we could see our custom footer text. So this is how you would get started. Again, this isn't how you would make the best CSS decisions or design decisions, but I kind of like the blue and green here. So again, this is really just to show you the basics of how to get started with this. And at this point, what I would do is I would suggest you come over to underscores.me and you just repeat this process that I just showed you. Okay, so fill in this basic information with all your information, download it, open it up in your editor, make a style change, make a template change, and check that it works. You don't need to know how to do everything in here. Not all of this needs to make sense. What needs to make sense is the fact that you could start off with a starter theme that already has some code and you edit that theme directly. So that's what you want to be able to do at this point. So once you get that done, in the next lesson, I'll prompt you to kind of take this a little bit further and do some practice with a different starter theme than just underscores. But make sure that you have practice first along with this demo.